connecting.
It worked.
Wow.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello.
I
How
look
are you?
nice and shiny and getting my life together. How are
That's
you?
awesome. I'm so glad you're doing that
Woo!
because we want you to. That's just amazing. Thank you so much for joining. And
Yeah.
thank you everyone who's watching for being so patient. I am so very excited for our special guest. Every week we have a special guest on Fridays on our IG Lives. And we talk about different topics that are going to help you in your professional world. So today, as you all have, if you've been following Nelson, for those of you who are not familiar with Nelson Career Curators, we are an executive coaching practice and we offer career therapy as well. And so today we are featuring a really, really great professional. She is the founder of Upton Law, and she is so very knowledgeable and a wealth of personality. So I guess I introduced you. I was supposed to actually let you introduce yourself, but since I already did it, just share with our audience today who you are and what you do. And yeah.
Yikes, so much pressure. Okay. So yes, I am Shakina Melbourne and I own Upton Law PLLC. It's a law firm that specializes in business and bankruptcy. A lot of times I get asked why business or why bankruptcy and how did you put the two together? Well, to me, it's an easy answer. To others, it's not, right? Many people may have issues or credit issues that are resulting in why they are unable to get a business loan. For that reason, the firm specializes in bankruptcy to help people if they have any issues on the credit side to get that business loan. But on the business side, we do anything from formatting the business to working with contracts, vendors, employment contracts, you name it, we got it. If we don't have it, we likely have a resource to help you with it.
Okay.
And so, I
Awesome.
guess a little, you want to know about me or the firm?
Yeah, so before we get into the firm, because that's very important, I just want to
Okay.
know more about you and why did you start your firm?
Wow. So,
Yeah, I know. You
how far back
should.
do you want me to go? I'm just kidding.
No
Since I was
pressure, whatever you want to share.
All right. So since I was three, I wanted to be a lawyer. And in fact, I think I wanted to be more of a judge, to be honest. And I think that's based off of my dad watching a lot of those judgeship shows when I was growing up, right?
Yeah.
And since the second grade, I had a teacher that said to me, well, create your plan. If judge is what you want to be, what all schooling you'd have to do that.
Hmm.
And so I stuck to the plan. I did not deviate from that plan. I went through all of the schooling as scheduled and became a lawyer, right? Then
Yes.
I started practicing law. I started as in-house counsel at a corporate headquarters at a
Hmm.
bank in East Lansing, Michigan. And then I went on to work at a law firm where I was introduced to bankruptcy. And going through both of those processes, one of the things I realized is there was a ton of people that were uninformed, is what I realized.
Hmm.
And I got tired of hearing when people say, I just don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how do we fill in the blanks to at least introduce you to something that you do know, even if it's just letter A and B of the whole alphabet? So at
Hmm.
least you can get started in where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
And I discovered that when it came with to business owners, there was a little bit of hesitancy. Yeah, we're proud to be business owners, but when you get into actual business, there's a whole separate side of maintenance or maintaining your business.
Right.
And so I wanted to be able to help people not only maintain their business or start the business, but be able to maintain the business and
Hmm.
help the person on the inside out. So you as the individual, as well as you as your business, how do we help both of you come together to make it make the most sense? And how do we help and contribute to your family or your community by doing that?
Right.
And so that's how come I end up starting the firm.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So you work primarily with your clientele are business owners.
Yes, the
Okay,
majority of my
fantastic.
clientele are business owners.
Fantastic. So for anyone who is a business owner, you should, that's the criteria. You need to be a business owner in order to have access or engage in a relationship with Upton Law. So is that partly why you started your company, Upton Law, is to continue to educate and
Yes,
provide the actual services?
correct.
Mhm.
And what I also did was create a network. And what I mean by that is if there's anything that a business owner comes to me with, yeah, as a lawyer, they might say, oh, you might know the answer.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know every answer. So what I do is I then reach out to other people in my network. So like, for example, many business owners might say, well, I don't want to start a business, or one of the concerns about going into business is I don't have a benefit package,
Mm.
right? Coming
Right.
from a previous job. So what I do is I work with companies like Hubris and help, get people together from the other side, like a life insurance policy, work through the concept of health insurance, creating a IRA or a 401k or something that you can now be able to create your own benefit package, but still be able to be a business owner, still fulfill the idea you have, the product or the service that you're trying to give to the world.
See, that's important. I love that you said that because I have some people come up and say, "Well, I can't start a business because I don't want to lose my benefits."
Yes,
I don't, and it seems that that's possible based on what you're saying. That it is possible for you to still get benefits without having to, while you work for yourself.
that is
So
correct.
you're someone who would actually connect this individual to your network to make that happen.
That is correct, because the network will also include stuff like an accountant. Sometimes you might have a logo, or you may need a logo, because
Mhm.
again, we're starting from scratch, right? With some
Yeah.
people, you may be providing a service, but it doesn't matter. Not have all your paperwork together at the time that you
Right.
start your business, but your service has started, or you're selling your product.
Yeah.
But you may need a logo, you might need a website, you might need an accountant, you might
Mhm.
need a financial advisor, you
Right.
may need a will, you may need a trust. And
Right.
so all of these things are steps as part of being a business owner and maintaining your business.
Wow.
When it comes to a lot of small businesses specifically, we lose sight of the bigger picture, or what all we need to get our
Mhm.
business in order. It's
Right.
not just your service, it's not just your product. It's 15 other steps after that, but let's
Mhm.
guide you through the 15 steps instead of just watching you question, do you know what to do or not? Or then your business closed because you didn't know this audit was coming, or you didn't know you could have been saving in this way. You didn't know which bank was the best business checking account. I mean,
Mhm.
it may sound simple, but for many business owners, they don't know that there's resources out there. You're
Right.
just hoping for the best with the product or the service that you're offering.
Mm. So wow, that's key, and that's very important. And as a business owner, I definitely appreciate what you do, and the network that we do have, because that's you need a network to support you when you are a business owner.
Yes.
Doing everything yourself can be counterproductive at a certain time, and you need to plug in, well, you don't need to, but you should plug in to a network to help you continue to excel and grow. What
Yes.
would you say are the basics of what a business owner should be looking at maybe in their first year in business or of becoming officially a company?
Hmm.
What are some of the basics that you see commonly they don't know, but you can share that they should look out for or should start to get familiar with?
I think one of the misconstrued concepts is if I get a website or a social media page, then I'm in business.
Mm.
And I get that more than anything else. I actually get clients who have been in business in theory, whether that's sole proprietor, which mean, or a DBA, right, doing business as, which means you're an individual doing a business or a service, and they don't have protections on the back end, like a LLC, which is limited liability company.
Right.
Then you have people that throw out there like, hey, I got an LLC, but they don't have a federal tax ID number.
Mm.
So how are you moving your business along, whether that is getting a business account or checking or savings account, being able to do business with other vendors, if you don't have some kind of identification outside from the name, an actual identifier to help with your business. And not only that, because the thing about it is your product or your service will always be revamped. It's going to be constantly moving and changing. So you want to make sure your ducks are in a row in the background. So you want your articles of organization, your federal tax ID number, and for many people, they miss this third step, which is the operations agreement. We fear the concept of a business plan because the business plan is so big, but we got to backtrack before we get to the business plan.
Okay.
And that starts with an operations agreement. The operations agreement is what's telling you, hey, this is how I'm going to administer my business. In some instances, like credit unions, require an operations agreement before you can even open a bank account in the name of your business. They want to see this isn't a concept of Uber where you're driving a vehicle and you want Uber to pay your business for less tax deductions. Some banks want to see that you're an actual business, that you're actually going to move forward, and you're not going to use this checking account to go to McDonald's every week and feed your kids. But instead, you're using it to, you'll be surprised, you're using it to actually buy inventory, do payroll, whatever is necessary, buy products, whatever your service is, even a case management software. You even want to have something like that in order, I would say, before you get to the business plan. Because how are you usually case management softwares help with invoicing. It helps with billing. It helps with keeping track of your vendors. It helps with figuring out, you can even use some of them for payroll.
Okay.
You want your
so like a Square?
Correct. PayPal has a version, QuickBooks has a version, Square has a version. You want something as a foundation for your business. So when you get 50 clients, that's not the time for you to be trying to figure out, how do I best serve these clients? Or what's the best way to get the product to the client or the customer that's buying the product? That's not the time to figure that out. It's prior to. Your business plan is the next step, but there's also two forms of business plans. You have a one-page business plan, and you have the large business plan. Usually, a small business owner wants to go for the gun, do the 100-page business plan. But why? It usually overwhelms them so much so that they may not actually start the business. So do a one-pager. Try it just like a resume where you have to condense. Yeah, you might have 50 experiences, but you're trying to condense your experiences to one page.
Right.
Write down in one page, narrow it down, figure it out what words you need, what phrases, what product, what service, and put it in one page. And that one page must include your business name, your logo, and your address. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about one page, right? But you want to have all of that because that's also your navigation. So 6 months in, you know where you're trying to go with your business by looking at your one pager.
Right.
A year from now, you get to look back at it and say, I'm on the right track. I'm doing what I need to do to get my business off the ground. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely, that answers the question. So if I were to do it in steps on a checklist, it sounds like the business plan is second because we did discuss business plan here on our IG Lives and what are some of the things that you need to have on there. But that sounds like in the bigger scheme of things, that's step number 2. Step number 1 would be for you to get your EIN numbers, make sure, not numbers, but yeah, a number,
Yeah,
establish the LLC or whichever you decide,
correct.
and having an agreement, operations agreement in place.
Yes, because those things are going to continuously come up. And the reason I say that is a year from starting a business, if you decide to get a line of credit, for example,
Mm-hmm.
it's something that they're going to ask you for.
Okay.
The
Okay.
bank is going to ask you for it. So it's important. Those are, I would say, those are all foundational. I don't say fundamental, foundational
Yes.
steps for your business.
Okay.
And I think people tend to skip that step.
Okay. Fantastic. And so, based on your expertise and experience, can you share also some commonalities of avoidable mistakes that you're seeing our business owners are making, maybe now? So I talked about the first year. So let's talk about the 2 to 3 years. What are the common mistakes that are happening that you're noticing as a
It's
trend?
funny you say that. One of the biggest things that I've discovered is business doesn't go in years,
Mm,
it goes in phases.
okay.
I've seen business owners still stuck at phase one, which is the foundational piece,
Mm,
and they've been in business for 10 years.
mm,
How is that possible? They never got to it. You see, once you start the business, whether it's the worries, whether it's the staffing, whether it is the inventory, those things will get in the way and you will
mm,
forget your foundational pieces.
mm, mm,
So I would say that's phase one. Phase two is when you're looking at, you realize you maxed out as the business owner. So what I mean by that is most small business owners start with themselves and a partner, right?
mm.
But it's still you. You're the only person in the business, okay? The second phase that gets complicated is when do you realize that you need staff?
Mm.
At what point do you look at that and how do you look at that?
Right.
One of the things to consider is, have you burnt out yet? Well, what do you mean? I'm always tired. I'm doing business 24 hours. Yeah, but have your clientele reached a point that is just so much you just can't manage anymore?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or are your customers asking you for something that you don't have the skill set for?
Mm.
And because you're in business in this particular lane, you need someone else to come in on this lane.
Right. Yep.
That can simply be an independent contractor. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be an employee and it doesn't have to be a partner. But you have to zen in with yourself, your own spiritual self, and figure out, have you maxed out yet?
Yeah.
Once you get to that point, okay, now you have to figure out an actual structure
Mm-hmm.
that will allow you and whoever that person is or persons are
Mm-hmm.
to keep the business going, but and can benefit your business versus burdening it.
Right.
You as a small business owner, you can't look at it as a large corporation with 300 employees, and so you're allowing Jane to slack off and Chris to do whatever, because sure, you have other people that can do it. That's not the case. Just three of y'all. You need to get it done and done now, because that's what options you have.
The standard needs to be the same, whether it's you doing
Correct.
it directly or you hired someone that's, on the team to do that for you. Like everyone needs to
Exactly.
be representing the company because it's the brand, right? And it's the
Exactly.
service. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so some people say, well, how do you determine? So if we figure out the how being, okay, when you max out, right?
Yeah.
Then we figure out the other piece of the how, which is, how do you pay extra people when you as the business owner is usually suffering and trying to figure out how to pay your bills and your personal bills and your business debt all at the same time?
Right. Right.
So how do you determine that amount? Well, there's a couple of things online that you can actually Google to figure out what's the average rate in the area, for example. what's the actual or the average hourly rate, so you at least know where you're at
Mhm.
and if that's something you can afford.
Right.
You
That's
also have to look at from the point of view is, yeah, you want to look at the person's skill set. I'll give you that. But again, it's still not like corporate America where you're coming $40,000 for the year.
yeah.
That may not be the case because I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm gonna have enough business come in to pay you $40,000 for the
Hmm.
year,
Hmm.
right? So you want to factor that in. You also want to sit down with your actual budget,
Okay.
right? So
So
you take,
sit down with your actual budget. So you're saying as a business owner, you should be able to master understanding your dollars.
if you can, the easiest way I say to do is get an Excel sheet and write down how much income you brought in. So every time somebody pay you, even if it's $2, you write that down.
Yeah.
And what you do over, like when you're looking at staff, you can go back to your Excel sheet and look over the last 3 months, approximately how much did you bring in.
Right.
Then you can look at how much expenses you have going out for your business.
Hmm.
Then you want to look at how much expenses you have going out personally,
Yeah.
because it's two different sets of expenses.
Hmm.
Your income must exceed both of those before you need to ask somebody else. Because listen, this has happened. Hell has happened to me, okay? Where you start realizing, I done put you on payroll, and wait a minute, I can't afford you anymore. I'm
Right.
sorry. My rent due just as much as yours is, and I actually can't afford to pay my rent,
Hmm.
the rent for the business or the expenses on the business, and your pay. This is now a problem.
Okay. Right.
So you want to make sure this is something you can actually properly gauge with numbers before adding people, even though you're maxed out.
Hmm. Interesting. And I mean, there's still the option to plug in to maybe hiring an intern, or
Oh yeah,
there's still the option to do volunteer. If you can get a few volunteer students, because
yes,
the trade-off is they'll be able to learn something new and sharpen their skills.
absolutely.
So that's very helpful. For those of you who don't know, here at Nelson, yes, we are executive coaching. We provide that. We're also providing career therapy, but we also have our business side where we are now helping small business owners find talent. So this is our talent acquisition services that we assist you with. So finding talent is very important, and it's time consuming for a small business owner. And so we, leverage our time so we can be able to help you make that happen so your business can keep going and growing,
Yeah,
right? And of
that's
course, we
awesome.
will, refer you to Shakina and at Upton Law, absolutely, to make sure that you are on the right track in the different phases where you need to be in your business, because we
Right.
don't want you to necessarily be at phase one, and you may not know, you don't know what you don't know, right? Um,
Correct.
Right. So
Period.
you may be someone who could just with a simple consultation be at phase 5, right?
Correct.
But you're still on phase 1 because you just don't know that one key element that can just propel you to the next step. So,
Correct.
how can they get in contact with you if really they want to discuss a little bit more about where they are and where and get the help, because some people don't know when to ask for help either, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can't, you don't necessarily recognize I need the assistance. So just having an overall fresh perspective, is that something that you offer or someone in your network?
No, they can't call me. No, just kidding.
Well, that's
No,
okay.
no,
We'll
no.
take care of it.
No, no, no. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we do have a website. It's called uptonlawpllc.com. Pretty simple,
Okay.
I think. Upton, because I've learned that some people spell uptown, right? So Upton Law PLLC. And it also on the website we have that contact feature where you can put in your name, phone number, email, and someone will get back with you.
All right.
If you're not as savvy, computer savvy, you can give us a call,
Okay.
248 because I am in Michigan, right? So 248-677-2019.
Okay.
And if you don't get me directly, you'll get the assistant that will still get you to me. So either
Yeah.
way, you'll still get to talk to me. And what I do when I first meet any business owner, because it is free consultation,
Mhm.
we sit and we discuss what your business is, what your plan is, and we create an execution plan. So
Mhm.
even if there is 5 things that you need to do by law, to me, you're still a small business owner. So we're going to do them in steps,
Yes.
what meets your financial budget, and
Mhm.
then we get you on the road to as you go along, because it doesn't make sense for me to rob you and then help you all at the same time.
Wow,
I'm trying
fantastic.
to help
That's
you.
awesome. And I mean, and also, I can't help but notice, do you not? I think you have a billboard. I mean, this isn't, this is a
It's
big
so funny.
deal. If you guys can't find her anywhere on social media, I mean, just go on the billboard. You'll see her just right there. It's amazing.
Facts.
Where can, where can they
um,
find your billboard? Just in case they weren't able to get this on the IG Live today.
Oh, okay. Well, I did kind of post it on social media. However, I
Okay.
managed I managed to get a billboard on 6 Mile, 7 Mile, and the infamous 8 Mile in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, so it's not one billboard.
Oh no, ma'am, it's 3 of
I
them.
see. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Well,
it's pretty
definitely,
cool.
folks, if you want to see this billboard, which is phenomenal, I would highly recommend you follow Upton Law. We're gonna put her handle here, so we're gonna tag you on this live to make
Okay.
sure that folks can go ahead and follow you and schedule an appointment. So we've taken you through
Yeah.
a few ways that you can be successful in the Nelson Network when it comes to your business. Just a brief recap, we've discussed finances, how to save money. We've
Yeah.
discussed how to start a business plan and connected you to someone in our network to get your business plan going. We've connected you to a wealth management company, Hubris, who was on to explain to you 7 steps, financial necessities, essentials when it comes to your finances. And now we have a lawyer, guys, on here telling you, look, let me look at your overall plan. Let's see where you are. What phase are you in your business so we can help you to continue to be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so we're gonna bring on some more. We're gonna bring on some more guests, but right now we'll keep you guys going and keep you updated. So any other advice that you would like, or commonalities that you've seen that you just want to touch on that's very important before we conclude today?
Yeah. You touched on something earlier that I wanted to emphasize. Don't be too prideful or too strong minded when you need help.
Mm.
Business doesn't come in one cookie cutter thing. It's not like you go to school K through 12 and everyone has the same textbooks. That's not what this is.
Mm-hmm.
In business, everyone's going to have different tools based on their different experiences. If one doesn't have the answer, someone else will.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have our own learning styles. So you just have to find someone who's going to teach you in a way that you understand to propel your business.
Yeah.
Don't be so consumed with is there a right or wrong? There's no real right or wrong. It's what works best for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, that's great thoughts. Words of the wise. Thank you so much.
It's welcome. Thank you for having me on here and
I am
giving
so excited. Yeah,
this
I'm excited that you
forum.
could join us. I know you just fresh off a plane and you
Yeah.
just hopping on and like, yes, we're here, and I'm so
Yeah, but I
glad.
had to look out. I couldn't not show up.
Oh, well, I appreciate that
I
you
had to I
did.
had to bless your show. No, I'm just kidding.
It's
No,
not a
but
problem. It's not a problem. But if you really want to bless her show, next time,
mhm.
just go. We'll have that live in front of your billboard. I think that's going to be a lot more
Oh, that would
interesting.
be so cool. We should so
Mm-hmm.
do that. And we
Yes,
really should
yes.
because I'm working with Outfront Media right now, which is one of the largest billboard companies nationwide. And
Wow.
they're looking to meet with or speak with particularly minority business owners
Hmm.
and figure out ways to get deals that make the most sense financially for
Mm-hmm.
small business owners to also be able to get billboards and sign because they do more than billboards. They do
Okay.
digital media as well as billboards, traffic signs, bus stops, you name it, on the bus. So
Mm.
there's options, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things they asked me to do is to share this information with other minority business owners to say, hey, they have options. Here's the representative. I can give her name, her phone number, her email address. You can reach
We're
out to
going to
her
get that
yourself.
information. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can, help advertise your business in a new way just as much as I have.
I love it. Wow, Nelson on your bus stop, on your billboard, like on your school
Fire.
campus, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
They
if you
even have
guys,
an app and stuff like that too.
they have an
App
app as
ads.
well.
Mhm.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, gems on gems on gems. So,
Exactly.
you and I are going to talk, obviously. You might don't be surprised, you might see a billboard.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm with it, sis. And we could have a party right outside of yours, like, hey, we did it. I love it. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. I'll get ready for that.
Okay.
You know.
It's
Well,
a
okay,
process.
guys.
It's a
So that is
process.
our show today. That is our IG live. We're on topic. We'll bring it
Yes.
back. So any questions you guys have, please let us know. You can always reach us. You can DM us. You can put it in the chat. If you need to get in contact with Upton Law, we will definitely share her contact information with you all so you can get that consultation and move forward in your phases. So I am Betty with Nelson Career Curators, and thank you so much, Shakina Melbourne, for being on
Thank you.
today, our expert lawyer from Upton Law, the founder, and we are very excited to have you today and can't wait to see you again. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care. Bye.